like you say.
That's so interesting.
Yes.
You know, as entrepreneurs, you would be afraid to say, if I start this and then it doesn't work, what are
Yes.
people going to say about me?
Yes.
And if I start something else, will there be anybody supporting me on the next idea? My first idea has failed. I start another one. Maybe it might fail. What would you say to an entrepreneur out there who's still trying out ideas and maybe they are failing?
Failing is a very contextual question, because I always say, but you failed at what? Because number one, have you failed to raise demand? Have you actually done everything needed to adequately create demand? Number one. And secondly, have you also ascertained that this is total failure of the idea itself? Thirdly, rather, it's okay to move from one business to the other and retry. I'm not on the failure vibe type. I don't necessarily buy into that idea. I believe in iteration, which is you do something, you fix, you get feedback, you fix again, you move forward. So I'm really big on that. Failure is a very overrated concept in my view.
So you just have to keep improving your idea. If you see that it's not working in this way, you try it the other way or you improve it altogether.
Yes, because remember in our initial conversation, the idea of Yarutso came from Cape Town, from a ride hailing overview. But Yarutso is not a ride hailing business, is it? What that tells you is somewhere along the line there was a realization that maybe the tech needed to build a ride hailing business is not something that I can afford right now. So perhaps let me go back and leverage on what I can do in the meanwhile as I find my ultimate business plan. And the course of action we've discovered, the business plan we're now pursuing, is totally different from the idea we had. But this is a business that is finding its way. So failure is such a overrated concept.
Okay, so we see that since you started here also you've been scaling up. What was your first big win, like your first achievement as here also? Or maybe what you could say, this is our biggest win as here also group.
Um, uh, this also, this idea of the biggest win is also dangerous, because then it creates this idea that there are very huge milestones that are need to be achieved for you to celebrate. I'll tell you, wherever the business is right now, it's a milestone for me, because this is a business which there was no business in the first place. This is a business that employs, about 6 people who are educated. They come to work every day, leaving their home houses, leaving their families to come to work. So that is a milestone. This is a business that is a registered trademark. This is a business that is Zimbabwe Tourism Authority registered. This is a business that is Tourism Business Council compliant. This is a business that is compliant to all these key issues, from tax to all that. This is a business that meets its payroll. People come to work and get paid what they. This is a business with people who have worked for it for more than 3 years. So people are literally growing up on this organization that we're building. And so these are the key milestones that actually make me happier than saying, the fleet size has grown to X, or the customer count has grown to X. It's nice to see your balance sheet grow. It's nice to see, clients now paying online seamlessly, booking online and paying. Those are wins. But I'm much happier when 4 people in the organization have been with it for 3 years and now going for their fourth year, meaning it's something they take seriously. Those are the kind of wins that I desire. Mm-hmm.
So now for an entrepreneur who's saying, or maybe not yet an entrepreneur, someone who's trying to find their way into entrepreneurship, maybe moving from a career to entrepreneurship, what would you say to them? What advice would you give them?
I tell them to do their career. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's a hard, I wake up at 3 a.m. every day and I sleep at 8 p.m. A typical day involves working across finance, legal. I maneuver all these corridors in a day. So, I mean, if you have a marketing qualification and you like your marketing, brand building, social media marketing, events, great, but with entrepreneurship, you have to be in marketing and in sales and in legal. And, one time you're sitting with the police, and the next time you're sitting with the CEO of your insurance company. It's the type of place where you can be in Kagoi Street and your hands have grease, and the next thing you have to be at a business conference and shaking people's hands, and so it would take a lot out of you. So I actually generally don't encourage people to do entrepreneurship. But if you have a knack for these kind of things, if you actually can fathom pain and you can fathom minimum hours of sleep, and you want to separate yourself from going out, knowing that I can work 16, 17 hours a day, and you really desire that kind of life, then game on, come on.
So you talked about taking on different roles as an entrepreneur. You have to be the marketing director, you have to do all these things. So how do you handle it? How do you maneuver around it?
Yeah, so like I said, in our organization we have different people, right, who play different roles. So, for example, I have my own key result areas as the CEO of the business. We have a fleet manager, we have a marketing manager, we have an administrator, we have a few drivers, right? So we have a structure, right? So people do their, so delegation obviously takes a bit of my work away, right? But overall, I still need to have oversight of the entire business, and I'm still the one I'm still the face of the business, right? So, ultimately, I cannot abdicate the business. I still need to have total oversight of it, and because of that, you still need to know if the marketing is being done right. And whilst working, of course, with the marketing manager, but you need to find balance that to say, guys, this is where we're going. Are we meeting our deadlines? Are we meeting our KPIs? Fleet, are the cars working smoothly? At school, so the cars need to be working, because ultimately the face of the brand is still largely tied to me. So I need to have total oversight of the performance of the business.
So for someone listening, what would be the steps for me to say, okay, the blueprint that you started, now you are an established brand. So which steps do they have to take if they have an idea, they want to launch an idea? Which stages have you moved?
Okay. I mean, look, so I would recommend people want to do business to read a book called The Lean Startup by Eric Ries, which speaks about, an idea is literally nothing. I mean, if you have an idea and think you're sharing it with people, is people's my idea, then we are not ready to talk about business, But the idea, the broad concept is that if you have an idea, you need to move to what we call a minimum viable product, right? What that means is do something at a very low cost level, but test out the idea, right? If it actually works, So if you think there's an idea of pink water, why not go do 5 bottles of pink water? 5 bottles of pink water will not cost you more than $5 or $10, right? Do design on your pink water. Do your communication on pink water. Sell your pink water. Go to your retail outlets and say, I have this idea of pink water. Try get some. Then the market will tell you, pink water, maybe blue water, So you need to find action. Critically, what's important is action. Then you may find that from water you may actually end up doing, iced tea, for example. But the market has then told you that, okay, the idea works, but how about you? It has a bit of flavor. So then the market tells you. Then before you know it, you become an iced tea coffee shop, the biggest in the country, But you started as Pink Water. So, but all these changes and iterations and modifications can only come from action and consistent action. So you don't do Pink Water today and think it will sell by itself. You need to actually consistently go to market and keep pushing. Even if you don't find orders today, you keep pushing, until one day. Not even one day. I mean, just be consistent and you find the breakthrough.
So the key takeaway here is that I have to validate my market if I have an idea.
Yes, validate the idea in the market. Sure.
So it was a very interesting conversation with you, Victor. We really learned a lot from this conversation. Do you have anything that you want to say to the audience as Victor closing remarks?
Well, I'll just say, guys, you start the idea, get it going. You'll be surprised how this fear of the unknown is actually stopping you from finding your true calling. So give it a try and see how it goes.
Most entrepreneurs cry about capital. How am I going to fund this and all that stuff? But we've learned that in your business, you actually funded through the idea.
Yeah, because you're saying you don't have funding, but you have an iPhone 17, which costs $1.5. Are you sure you don't have funding?
Thank you so much. We really learned a lot from you as an entrepreneur, and I hope our audience actually picks something that they can use as well in establish their businesses, their startups, and helping them grow as well.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Sorry,
It's such a pleasure. Cheers.